So this is SQL Server demo class. Okay, then. And today's my focus is on what is SQL Server and what for SQL Server, and we have to learn this course. The focus is on only these 3 points. Okay, what is SQL Server, what for SQL Server. Okay, then so where SQL Server is used in industries. Next, and we have to learn this course. Now, so nowadays every organization maintains what? Databases. Every company maintains databases. Small organization to very large organization. So every organization maintains databases. So why companies maintains databases? This is, let us say this is one database. Why organizations maintains databases? For storing data. Companies maintain databases for storing the data. Yes or no? So you take banks. Every bank maintains databases for storing customers' data. Okay, na? You open account, you do transactions, you go to ATM, you do the transaction. So, like, where the details are stored? When you do the transaction, you go to ATM, you do the transaction. So the transaction details are stored or not? Yes. That is the reason after 1 month you go to the bank and you ask for statement. They give the statement or not? Yes. How they are giving the statement? Because every transaction is what? Recorded. Okay, every transaction is what? Recorded. But where these transactions are recorded? These transactions are recorded in one place. What that place is called? Database. So, next, telecom companies. So, telecom companies like Airtel, Jio, they maintain what? Database. What is stored? Storing data. They store data. You take SIM card. When you take SIM card, the details are stored in what? Database. You make a phone call. When you make a phone call, the details are stored in what? Database. Every call is recorded in what? Database. That is the reason if something happens, like in any crime happens, police department will contact what? Telecom companies to get the call list. So who are involved in this, to get the call list. So police department will contact telecom companies. So telecom companies will provide the call list or not? Yes. But how they can provide the call list? Because every call is recorded in what? Database. Amazon maintains what? Database. You go to Amazon, you place order to buy product. That is, details are stored in database. Okay. So every small organization to very large organization, every organization maintains databases. The primary purpose is what? For storing data. Now, what are the different ways for storing the data? What are the different methods? We can store data in what? Variables. We can store data in files. We can store data in database. Yes or no? In programming languages, you declare something like this: integer a. What is int? What is a? So a is a variable. Int is what? Data type. A is called variable. So you take variable, in variable you can store data. A equals to 10. You are storing some data 10. So in variables also we can store data. We can store the data in files, like you take Excel. You take what? Excel. In Excel we can store the data or not? Yes. So these are the different ways, methods for storing the data. Then now, but if you store data in variables, if you store the data in variables, it's not permanent. It's not permanent. So like just now I take an integer a equals to 10. So this value exists. You given a some value to variable a, the value is a, the value is 10, and this value exists. This value, whatever the value assigned to the variable, that value exists up to the program. Once program execution is completed, so the value assigned to the variable is gone. Yes or no? You know that, no? Okay. Then, so that means value stored in variables is permanent or not permanent? Not permanent, temporary. So the value exists up to the program execution. Once program execution is completed, the value assigned to the variables are what? Gone. Next, and this is not permanent. This is not secured. The data stored in variables is not permanent, not secure. If you go to files, the data stored in files is permanent or not permanent? Permanent. You take Excel file. Today you stored some data. Tomorrow that will be there or not? Yes. Tomorrow you can open that Excel file, you can work. That means data stored in files is what? Data stored in files is what's it? Permanent. And the data stored in files is what? Not secure. You created the Excel file. Can I open that Excel file? Yes or no? Can I open the Excel file? Can I work with that data? Yes. Files created by one user can be accessed by another user. So it's not secure. Next one. So, and here database. What is database? Permanent and also what? Secure. Permanent and secure. That means the data stored in variables is permanent and also secure. So variables not permanent, not secure. Files permanent but not secure. Database permanent and also secure. So if any company wants to provide permanent storage and to provide security to the customer data, compulsory they go for databases. Understood? Okay, na? So why company choose databases? Okay, why they choose databases? They got options. They can store data in files also, but why they choose databases? Permanent plus security. Like you take banks. So banks have to, not only storing the data is important, they have to provide what? Security to the customer data. So you should not access my account. I should not access your account. Yes or no? So security is most important in what? Banking, financial domain. Okay. So then, so compulsory they go for what? Databases. They want to provide permanent storage and they want to provide security to the customer data. So compulsory they go for databases. Okay. Then now this is database. And what for databases? For storing data. And this data is what, sir? Permanent. And it is also secure. Permanent and secure. Now, that means what is the permanent storage in your computer? What is the permanent storage? Hard disk. That means where database is created. So database is permanent. And what is the permanent storage in your system is hard disk. That means where database is created in hard disk only. Okay. That means don't think that database means something else. So database is a permanent storage and it is created in what? Hard disk. So suppose, for example, my hard disk size is 100 GB. Hard disk size is 100 GB. Let's say this is 100 GB. In 100 GB, I'll take 25 GB. Create the database. So this 25 GB is, I'm calling this as what? Database. In 100 GB, I'll take 25 GB. I create what? Database. So it's a part of hard disk. What the difference is? Difference is this memory is public memory. This memory is private memory. This 75 GB is what? Public memory. But database is what? Private memory. So like this 75 GB, everyone can access. Once you log on to Windows, you can open C drive, you can open D drive, you can open F drive, yes or no? So that is why you can call this as public memory. But what this database is? This database is what? Private memory. Not everyone can access this memory. Only authorized users can access this database. For example, I want to connect to Oracle database. Okay, I want to connect to the Oracle database. To connect to Oracle database, then let's see what it will ask. So it will ask, you have to provide what's it? Username and password. So without providing the user ID and password, you cannot connect to what? Database. So that means database is what? Public or private? So private memory. Not everyone can access it. What it is asking is, it is asking what? Username. It is asking username and password. Okay. Then, so this is private memory, whereas this is what? Public memory. Then, now I think you understood. Like you got what is database is. Okay, na? It is a place where you can store data permanently plus securely. Okay, na? Then, yes or no? Then, now. So, what are the, like, sir, in olden days, if we go to some years back, companies maintain only one database. Every organization maintain only one database. But nowadays, companies are maintaining two databases. One is OLTP, another one, what's it? OLAP. Okay. Earlier companies maintain only one, but nowadays companies are using what? Two databases. One is OLTP, another one OLAP. So there are two. Then, but OLTP database, OLAP database. So there are two. Like today's demo class, like I'm not giving the notes, but from tomorrow onwards, I'll give the notes. This today's what is what? Okay, then like what is SQL Server? Then my focus is that. So like today you ignore this notes and tomorrow onwards I'll give that. What is OLTP stands for? Online Transaction Database. What is OLAP stands for? Online Analytical Database. Online Transaction Processing. Online Analytical Processing. P means processing. So there are two. Online transaction processing, online analytical processing. There are two. So now why companies using two? One is enough now. Database is for storing the data. For storing the data, one is enough. Why they maintain two? Okay, because their purpose is different. This is used for one purpose and this is used for different purpose. This is used for one purpose and this is used for different purpose. This is used for what? This is used for day-to-day transactions. This is used for what? Day-to-day transactions. Okay, na? So for day-to-day transactions, they use OLTP. So tell me, what are the day-to-day transactions in banks? What are the day-to-day transactions in banks? Customers do what? Money withdrawal, money deposit, money transfer, like this. So they are the day-to-day. So every day-to-day transaction is recorded in what? OLTP. Every transaction is recorded in OLTP. Bank maintains OLTP. In this OLTP, they store day-to-day transactions. Amazon maintains OLTP. In that OLTP, they store the day-to-day transactions. Customer go to Amazon, place order to buy product. So whenever you place order to buy product, immediately the details are recorded in what's that? Amazon OLTP database. Okay, then. So this is mainly used for day-to-day transactions. Sometimes people go to bank people says, boss, server is down, wait for 10 minutes, wait for half an hour, like that. Yes or no? That means which server is down? Bank OLTP server is down. Bank what? OLTP. So when this is down, it will not accept transactions. You cannot store the transactions. Yes or no? Then that's why they don't accept transactions from customer also. Because they have to record, every transaction should be recorded in OLTP. But this is down. When this is down, so it will not accept. So that's why bank people also will not accept transactions from customer. They'll ask you to wait for half an hour, like. Understood? And what is this is for? This is for analysis. This is for what? Analysis. So if you want to analyze the data, you use OLA. You want to store day-to-day transactions, use OLTP. This is for running the business. If you want to run the business, you need OLTP. This is for to analyze the business. Amazon want to analyze the last 5 years data. Amazon want to analyze the last 5 years sales data. They're selling the products now. They want to analyze the last 5 years sales data. So if Amazon wants to analyze the data, they use OLTP. Okay, so this is for data analysis. If you want to analyze the data. So then some years back, what is important for companies, running the business is important. Okay, now then. So, but nowadays, for every company, what is important is running the business and also analyzing the business is also important because of huge competition. In every industry, there is a big competition. You take banking. In banking, there is a big competition. Next, what insurance, there is a big competition. In every industry, there is a competition. For this competition, so companies spending money on what's that? Data analysis. Nowadays, data analysis is playing an important role. That is why companies are recruiting what's that? Data analyst. Okay, na? So companies are recruiting what? Data analyst. Okay, then. So this is a big, like this is a playing a big role in nowadays in industry, data analysis. So then that is the reason these technologies came into the market. Why Hadoop came into the market? Okay, why Hadoop came into the market? Why data science came into the market. Data science using what? Python, next one, R. So why these technologies came into the market? Because what is this two? What is this two? Hadoop is a framework used for data analysis. Data science is a framework used for data analysis. So these two comes under what? These two comes under what? OLAP. So these two comes under OLAP. Okay, then these two are used for data analysis. Okay, na? You don't use Hadoop for what? Day-to-day transaction. You don't use data science for what? Day-to-day transaction. You use this for what? Data analysis. Okay, then. Now, then what is SQL Server then? SQL Server is used for what? SQL Server is used for day-to-day transactions or analysis. SQL Server is used for what? SQL Server can be used for what? Both. You can use SQL Server for storing day-to-day transactions. You can use SQL Server for analysis. You can use it for both. Then, see, like when we can use SQL Server for both, then why Hadoop came into the market? Why data science came into the market? You can use SQL Server now. We can use SQL Server for data analysis. When we can use SQL Server for data analysis, why these technologies came into the market? What the reason is? The reason is what? Sir, SQL Server is best. SQL Server is best for analyzing structured data. SQL Server is good, best for analyzing what? Structured data. Then data science and Hadoop is good for analyzing unstructured data. SQL Server is good at structured data. Data science and Hadoop is good for analyzing unstructured data. What is structured and unstructured? Like example, my data is there in tabular tables, rows and columns. Then tell me what that is. My data is there in tabular form, rows and columns. Then it is called structured. Then you can use what? SQL. SQL is the best language for analyzing structured data. Okay. Then my data is not there in tabular. My data is there in PDF. My data is there in WhatsApp, images, audio, video. I want to analyze this. Then what? That is what? Unstructured. So if it is unstructured, then you can use Hadoop and what? Data science. Like I got some images, face. I collected from various CCTV cameras installed in streets. That there are some images, photos, face. I want to identify in that images. I want to identify who are wearing mask, who are not wearing mask. I want to identify that. Then I don't use SQL Server. We use what? Hadoop and data science. You can use that Hadoop and data science for like finding who are wearing mask, who are not wearing mask. Understood or not? SQL Server is not for that. Okay, then. So now we can use SQL Server for analysis, but SQL Server is used for analyzing what? Structure. Then, so now, what are the day-to-day operations on database? What are the day-to-day operations on database? The day-to-day operations on database, what's that? CRUD. The day-to-day operations on database includes 4. CRUD. What is CRUD means? C means create, R means read, U means update, D means delete. Create the data, read the data, update the data, delete the data. Okay. Like let us assume that. So this database is bank database. Okay. This is bank database. Okay. Let it be. This is bank database. Then. So a new customer opens account. When customer opens account, his details are what? Created. You create the data. His data is created. Customer want to check the balance. That is called reading. Customer deposits some amount. His balance is what? Updated. Customer wants to close the account. Deleted. A customer want to open account. Then create. Customer want to check the balance. That is called reading. Customer deposits some amount. Balance is updated. And customer want to close the account. Then delete. So any organization you take, any database you take, the day-to-day operations are 4. Every university maintains what? Database. Okay. Then a new student joins. His details are created. And student want to check the details. Then read. And student changes his group. Then update. Or student changes his address, his phone number. Then update. And student completes codes. Delete. So, like any database you take, the day-to-day operations are what, sir? 4. Create, read, update, delete. But thing is, like point is, you cannot directly work with what? Database. This is not possible. You cannot directly go to database update. You cannot directly go to database delete. You cannot go to the database and read. You can't directly work with what? Databases. Because database is a storage. You cannot directly work with what, sir? Storage. Sir, okay now? Then this is not possible. So you can't directly interact with what? Database. You can't directly operate the database. Let us even TV. We can't directly operate this TV. We use what's the remote. Through this remote, you are operating the TV. Similarly, we can't directly operate what's the database. You need a software. Like in this system, there is some hardware. You purchased a new laptop. The new laptop comes with hard disk. Can you directly work with hard disk? No. First install what? First install Windows OS. After installing Windows, then you can work with what? Hard disk. You can create the files in hard disk. Similarly, we can't directly work with what? Databases. Okay, you need a software. What that software is? So you need to install one software. What that software is? That software is what? One of the software is, what is that is? SQL Server. Now tell me, what is SQL Server? What is database? Because if I ask students, what is SQL Server means, simply they say database. What is Oracle means, simply say database. But that is not correct. Then what is database? What is SQL Server? Database is a storage. Storing of data. Yes or no? SQL Server is a what? A software to manage the database. So it is a database storage. And what is SQL Server? SQL Server is a software used to manage database. In your laptop, you want to create the database. You want to work with the database. To create the database, to work with the database in your laptop, first you need to install what? SQL Server. After installing SQL Server, then you can create the database and you can work with database. Working with the database means creating the data, reading the data, updating the data, deleting the data. So if you want to do these operations, first you need to install SQL Server. After installing SQL Server, then you can store, update, delete. You got it or not? Yes. Now, that's all. So then, now you are clear. What is database? What is SQL Server? Is that okay now? Then. Now, now, what are the, like in only SQL Server is there? Then if anyone asks you, like once again, what is SQL Server means, you can able to answer yes or no. Okay now? So don't say what's it. Like, okay now? Don't say SQL Server is a database. Okay? Say SQL Server is a software. Software used to manage the database. Then, or you can say SQL Server is a what? A software used to what? A software used to software. Used to maintain the database. Software to create and to manage the database. Or you can say SQL Server is a what's it? Backend tool. Okay, na? SQL Server is a what? Backend tool. Got it? Then. So it's a backend tool. So then, now, then, so this is the, once again, just listen. This is the database. So this database is managed by SQL Server. SQL Server. Then, and next, this is what this is. This is what? Database. Then this is the database. Okay. Now, then what is this is called? This is called what's it? Backend. This is called what? Backend. And SQL Server is called backend tool. Okay. Then, but what I said, how you do this? Create, read, update, and delete. How you do this? Create, read, update, delete. You do this create, read, update, and delete by using, like I'll show that. 1 second. You go to bank clerk. How you go to bank and you want to deposit some amount. Just you give the amount to the bank clerk. How bank clerk will do the deposit? Deposit means what? Update. How we will update? How the bank clerk will update? How bank clerk will update? Then what he will do? He'll open some application. The bank clerk will open some application. What is this is? Something like this. So in this application, there will be there. What is that is? Input what's it? Account number. Input the account number. Input what's it? Amount. How much amount you want to deposit? What is the amount you want to deposit? Input the account number. Input the amount. Next one, there is a button here. What is the button is? Submit button, etc. Something. What is the, okay na? What is your account number? What is the amount? Next, click the submit button. What is this is called? What is this is called? This is called, what is this is called? This is called GUI. Graphical User Interface. Or this is called what? Frontend. What is this is called? Backend. And what is this is called? Frontend. Then tell me, how you do these operations? Create, read, update, delete. How you do this? I'm asking, how you do this? Create, read, update, delete. You do this create, read, update, delete. Okay. Then by using some application. What this application is called? Front end. Using front end, you create the data, read the data, update the data, delete the data. That is using front end. Using back end, you store the data. You store the data. In back end, what do you do? Store the data. And here you like store the data, update the data, delete the data. But from where you do that? From front end. From front end application, you do the create, read, update, delete. Then, but finally the data stored in what's it? Database. Okay. Then, so like suppose like for example, just see this here. Then, for example, there is a website. You leave it. What is this website? Okay. Then, new user registration. So then new user registration. In new user registration, what it is asking? It is asking what's it? What is your email address? What is the password? Retype, country, name, job title, work phone, company name, address. This is new user registration. What is this is called? This is called printed. When you enter these details, these details are stored in database. Every new user details are stored in what? Database. So from front end you input and the details are stored in what? Database. Okay. Then so now, but if this front end application can be, this is the front end. Is front end can be directly connected to SQL Server? No, this is not possible. How this front end application is developed? How this front end is developed? By using front end, using HTML, by using HTML, JavaScript, CSS. By using this, you develop this front end. Yes or no? Okay, na? And using SQL Server, you can create what's that? Database. So by using HTML, CSS, you can develop front end. And by using SQL Server, you can create what? Database. But if this HTML application can be connected to SQL Server? No. Is HTML application can be connected to SQL Server? No. So you cannot directly connect. Then in between, you need some other technology. You need some other technology. What are the technologies? Then in between, you need some. What is that is? You need what? You need what's it? Java, .NET, Python. Next one, PHP. So, okay, you need some technologies in between. So this front end is connected to this one, and this is connected to this database. Okay, this front end application is connected to this. What these technologies are called? They are called what's it? What these technologies are called? Middleware. And what this is called? This is called front end. What this is called? Back end. So this is middleware. Then this is middleware. This is front end, a middleware, and a back end. What this is called? This whole thing. This whole thing is called what? Full stack development. What this is called? Full stack application. Full stack development means that contains three. What are the three? Front end development. Next one, back end plus middleware. A front end, a middleware, and a back end. So these three. So the development of these three is called full stack development. Okay, na? Then the full stack application contains three modules, three parts. So front end development, back end development, and middleware development. So you are expert in SQL Server. You know only SQL Server, you can become backend developer. You are good in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then you can become front-end developer. You are good in .NET, then you can become .NET developer. You are good in Python, you can become Python developer. So, but if you know all the three, then you can become full stack developer. If you know all the three, then you can become full stack developer. Okay. So, like, if you know only SQL Server, then if it takes 6 months time to get the job, if you know these three technologies, within 2 months you can get the job. Yes or no? If you know only SQL Server, then it may take time. But if you know these three, then in less time you can get what's up. Because what companies requires what's up? These three. Okay, companies require these three. So if you are good in these three, then so getting job is easy, faster compared to knowing only one. Okay, even not only getting the job, even package also. Okay, na? You'll get good package. I know only SQL Server, then package will be less. If you know all the three, then package will be what's that? More package. Okay, na? Then. And some students will ask, sir, do you cover any project in this course? Okay, na? Remember, with only SQL Server, you cannot do the project. You cannot do the project. With only HTML, you cannot do the project. With HTML, what we can do? You can create this WhatsApp. You can create this forms. You can create this form. Takes half an hour time. To create this form, just takes what? Half an hour time. Okay, na? Like this, you can create the forms. So with only HTML, you cannot develop the project. With only SQL Server, you cannot develop the project. You develop the project with what? Combination of technologies. Okay, na? Because here we can create the form. You create the form. But without database, then what is the use of this? Okay, na? Without database, what is the use of? Because you enter the details. If these details are stored anywhere? No. Then what is the use of this project? Okay. Then that means this form must be linked with what? Database. Then how to link? Directly you cannot link. How this is linked? By using some middleware like .NET, Python, etc. So by using this three, you can develop projects. Not with only SQL Server, not with only HTML. If you attend HTML, suppose faculty says, we'll see some projects. That projects means only this forms, but the data is what's not stored. Understood? Then. So then for developing project, you need this three. Okay? Then. So only SQL Server is there in the market. Okay. Plus, and one more thing. Nowadays, if only experience of what's 3 years, 4 years experience, so they're drawing 18 lakhs. Okay. With experience of 4 years, 3-4 years, then they're drawing what's 18 lakhs per month. 18 lakhs per annum. Okay, na? So who? Full stack developers. Who? Full stack developers. Now, next. And only SQL Server is there in the market. Any other backend tools are there? What are the various backend tools? What are the various other backend tools? SQL Server is one. Next, Oracle is one. Next, DB2 is one. Next, MySQL is one. Next, PostgreSQL is one. Okay. Then There are number of tools available in the market. RDS is one. Okay. There are number of tools available in the market. SQL Server, Oracle, DB2, MySQL, PostgreSQL, RDS. Then what they are? They're all what? What they are? They're all what's that? Backend tools. All they are backend tools only. Okay. Then all these tools are used for same purpose or different purpose? Same purpose. What is that purpose? To maintain the database. These tools are used for same to maintain database. If any company so if any company wants to maintain the database, they use any of these tools. Okay, then. So which tool they use? Depends. Which tool they use? Depends. Depends on what? And depends on this technology. They are using Java technology. Maximum they prefer what? Oracle. They are using .NET. Maximum they use what? SQL Server. Like they are using PHP. PHP, maximum they use what? MySQL. Okay, then Python. Suppose they are using Python. If they use Python, they can use what's that? MySQL, anything. But it's not compulsory. But Java compulsory, they should use Oracle. It's not like that. Java can use what? Oracle. Java can use SQL Server. Java can use MySQL. So any middleware can use any backend tool. It's not compulsory that they should use only this tool. But maximum they prefer like this. Because if they are using Java, means Java is a Oracle product. Then definitely they use which database? They use what, sir? This is SQL Server is from what? SQL Server is from Microsoft. Oracle is from Oracle Corp. DB2 is from IBM. MySQL is from Oracle Corp. PostgreSQL is from PostgreSQL Forum Development. Next one, RDS is from what? Amazon. Okay, then they're from different companies. Okay, na? Then all that same, but they're from different companies. Like we have mobile phones. Mobile phones are there from different companies. Similarly, these products are also there from different companies. Now, so if they are using Java, means Java is a what? Oracle product. Then compulsory they use what's it? What Oracle Corporation recommend the client use what? Oracle database. They recommend to use Oracle database. .NET is a Microsoft. Then definitely what they recommend? Microsoft database. They recommend what's it? SQL Server. And they are using, client is using PHP. PHP is open source. PHP is what's it? Open source. Okay, na? Open source means you don't need to take license. You can download, you can install, you can use it. You don't need to take any license. Because the client is a small. Okay, na? You want to use open source PHP. PHP is open source. No need to take license. Then what they recommend? They recommend Oracle? No. They recommend SQL Server? No. Because SQL Server Oracle is what? License. Okay, na? SQL Server Oracle is what, sir? Licensed. Then if they are using PHP, why company is using PHP? PHP is open source framework. .NET is not open source. As Java is not what's it? Open source. Like suppose, then PHP is open source. Then what they do? Then compulsory they recommend what's that open source database. What is the open source database? MySQL. MySQL is open source. You don't need to take any license. Okay, you can install, you can use it. So it depends on the application. Which database they use depends on what's that application. For Java applications, they recommend Oracle. For .NET application, they recommend SQL Server. For Python, you can use anything. You can use MySQL. PHP, they can use what? MySQL. Okay, then. So, understood? Now, that's all. This is what, like, what are the different, like, actually, here, it depends on the company's bus, which is used, it depends on the companies. So, companies are divided at 3 levels. One is what? Small scale industries. What is this is? Medium scale industries. Next one, large scale. Sir, who use this SQL Server Oracle? This is used by what? SQL Server and Oracle is used by medium and what? Large scale companies. Medium and large scale companies. So small scale industries, they don't use SQL Server and Oracle. Only medium and large scale companies they use. Because small scale industries, okay, why? Because they don't need a database with advanced features. They need a database with basic features. What they need? They want a database with what? Basic feature. They don't need advanced features. That's why they usually go for what's it? MySQL, open source databases like MySQL and what? PostgreSQL. But medium and large scale companies want what? Medium and large scale companies wants a database with advanced features. Then definitely they go for what? SQL Server and what's it? Oracle. Understood or not? So, like medium and large scale companies wants a database with advanced features, and definitely they go for what? This SQL Server and Oracle. So they offer advanced features. Like industries like what's that? Banking. Definitely they use this. Industries like what? Telecom. Telecom industries wants a database with advanced features. Then definitely they use this. Got it? No. Insurance. No. So, but actually one more thing is, like if I ask you, what is the difference between SQL Server and MySQL? Okay, na? What is the difference? Okay, na? This is one cell phone. You compare this cell phone with other cell phone. Like if I ask you to, okay, na? What is the difference between Realme phone and the Redmi phone? Almost the same one. Yes, both provide what's that? Same facilities. Okay, na? Whatever the features are offered by one phone, almost of the same features offered by another phone. Features are same. Okay, na? But small differences will be there. But both are same one, na? Yes. Here also, all these databases, what's that? Same. SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, all are what's that? Same. If you know SQL Server, you can work with MySQL. If you know SQL Server, you can work with Oracle. If you know Oracle, you can work with SQL Server. If you know Oracle, you can work with MySQL. If you know one database, you can work with other databases. How that is possible? Because all these databases uses a common language. What the common language is called? SQL. All these databases uses a common language. What is the common language? SQL. That means in SQL Server, what is the language they use? SQL language. Oracle, what language they use? SQL. DB2, SQL. MySQL, SQL. PostgreSQL, SQL. RDS, SQL. All these databases uses a common language. What the common language is? SQL. When language is same, then working is same or not? Yes. Understood or not? Okay, na? You are living in what's a country, suppose English speaking country. Okay, na? You go to another country. In that country also they speak Hindi. Then you can easily survive or not? Yes, your day-to-day life is what's will be smooth. Understood or not? Okay, now similarly, here also, here SQL Server, they use SQL language. Okay, now you will be learning SQL in this SQL Server. Then, so like you go to some company. In that company, in project, they're not using SQL Server. They use Oracle. Then can't you work with Oracle? Yes, you can work with Oracle also. Because Oracle also uses what language? SQL language. Whatever you learn here, the same thing will be there in Oracle also. That is why, so no need to learn what's it? No need to learn what? Multiple databases. Learn only one database. One backend tool is enough. One backend tool is enough. Okay, na? Learn one backend tool. So which backend tool I have to learn? How you decide? Okay, how you decide? Sir, actually, I want to become a web developer, not database developer. I want to become what, sir? Web developer. I'm learning the Java. I'm learning the Java course here. And what Java faculty said, you need database also. That's why I'm coming to the class. Then for Java students, what I recommend what, sir? Oracle. You're learning Java, then learn Oracle. So you're learning .NET. If you're learning .NET, then learn what's that? SQL Server. Learn SQL Server. Like you're learning what's it? You're learning, suppose Python, PHP. You're learning Python and PHP. Then learn what? MySQL. But here nobody will offer MySQL. No institute will offer what's it? MySQL. So learn what's it? SQL Server. Because if you know SQL Server, then you can work with one. MySQL also. Okay. Then even interviews, in interviews, what they do, they test your SQL knowledge. Whether you know Oracle, whether you know SQL Server, whether you know MySQL, that is not important for company. Whether you know, whether you got the database knowledge or not is important. Because they know that if you know one database, you can work with what's other databases. That is the reason. So what they test your database knowledge, SQL knowledge. Okay, then. So here in SQL Server, you'll be learning various operations on what? Database. Next, working with the database. Okay, writing what's it? Queries. Writing queries in SQL Server. The same queries will be there in what? Oracle also. The same queries will be there in what's it? MySQL. If any changes are there, the changes are minor. So almost all these are same, 80% same. If any difference is there, the difference is 20% difference. Got it? That. Now. Then. Okay. Now, but nowadays, sir, companies are also using one. Companies are also using one. What is that is? They're also using what? NoSQL. See, what these databases are called? These databases, you can call it as SQL databases. You know why they are called SQL databases? Because Why they are called SQL databases? Because they are all these databases uses SQL language. That's why these databases are called SQL databases. There are some databases, they don't use SQL. They don't use what's it? SQL. One is what? MongoDB. One is what? Cassandra. Like this. What these databases are called? They are called NoSQL databases because they don't use SQL language. These are one family. All these are one family, SQL family. So these are one family. What is that is? NoSQL family. Okay, then. So, but if you know one SQL database, can you work with NoSQL database? No, because here different. If you know one SQL database, you can work with another SQL database. But if you know one SQL database, can you work with a NoSQL database? No, because here different. But if you know one NoSQL database, can you work with another NoSQL database? Yes, because they are what's it? Same. Okay, na? Then. So they don't use SQL language. Okay, na? They don't use SQL language. Okay, they use something called JSON. They use what's JSON? What is that is? JavaScript object what? Notation. Okay, now leave it. What is JSON? You leave it. So they don't use SQL language. They use JSON. JavaScript object notation. Then, so like why actually industry introduced this NoSQL? Why industry introduced NoSQL? Okay, then. So these databases are what's the good? These databases are good for storing and processing structured data. These databases are good for storing and processing structured data. And these databases are good for storing unstructured data. This is good for structured data. This is good for storing unstructured data. Got it? Then. So SQL databases are good for storing what? Structured. And this is good for storing unstructured data. So earlier, sir, some years back, if you take some years back, 80% of data is what? Structured. Only 20% of data is unstructured. 80% of data is what? Structured. And 20% of data is what? Unstructured. But nowadays, okay, na, it became what's it? It became what? 50-50. In some years back, olden days, 80% of data is structured, 20% of data is unstructured. But nowadays, 50% of data is structured, 50% of data is what? Unstructured. Why? Because social media platforms are increasing. Social media platforms are increasing. Example, social media platforms like what? Facebook, YouTube, okay, now WhatsApp, Instagram, all this is social media platforms. In social media platforms, maximum what type of data is generated? Unstructured data. You go to Facebook, what type of data is generated? Unstructured data. So that is why unstructured data is also increasing. That is the reason companies are using WhatsApp. Companies are using both what? SQL databases and what's it? NoSQL databases. Understood or not? So then, so because of this, like nowadays it is became 50-50. So that is the reason. So companies are using both SQL databases and companies are using NoSQL databases. Okay, then. Okay, then. Now, so then this is what is SQL Server. I think you got some idea. Huh? Now, who has to learn this course? Like who wants to become what's it? You want to be part of what? Web development, web application development. You want to become full stack developer, web development. Compulsory, you need what? Compulsory, you need database knowledge. So compulsory, you need what? Database knowledge. Who wants to become web developer? Web development like what? Java, .NET, okay, na? Then Python, like this. So Java developers needs what? Database knowledge. And Java, .NET, PHP, next one, Python. So compulsory, they need what's it? Database knowledge. Okay, then. So without this, it difficult for you to develop applications using the Java, .NET without database knowledge. Next one. You want to become what? BI development. You want to become what's it? BI development. What is BI means? What is BI? You want to become business what's it? Intelligence. BI development means business intelligence. Business intelligence like what? BI tools. BI tools like what's it? MS BI. Next one, Power BI. Next one, Tableau. Compulsory they need what's it? Database what? Knowledge. So compulsory you need database knowledge. Okay, then compulsory you need database knowledge. You start learning Power BI. Faculty will ask you, you know SQL or not? If you say I don't know SQL, then what faculty says? First learn SQL, then come to Power BI. Without knowing database knowledge, learning this is difficult. Without knowing database knowledge, learning is okay, but working is not okay. This one, without database knowledge, maybe you learn .NET codes, but if you go to real-time projects, working is difficult without database knowledge. Without database knowledge, forget about working. First, learning is not okay. You cannot even learn now without database knowledge. Next, some people said they want to become what? Okay, na? They want to become they want to become database developers, not what? Web development, not what's it? BI development. They want to become what? Database development. So they don't want to become this one. Then, so learn this course. What that is? SQL Server. Okay, na? SQL Server. Gain some experience. After gaining some experience, like just gain some 2-3 years of experience in development. After this, now you can become what's it? DBA. Database what's it? Admin. Database admin. Database admin. Database administrator. Okay, na? Then next, after gaining some experience, you can become what's it? Cloud DBA. Cloud database admin. So you can become SQL Server developer. Initially start. After gaining some experience, you can become DBA, Cloud Database Administrator. So what this is? This is only what? Database development. Not what's it? Web, not other technologies, only database. So learn SQL Server, gain some experience, then learn DBA. Then you can become what's it? SQL Server DBA. Then learn Cloud Azure. Then you can become what? Azure DBA. Cloud DBA. Cloud DBA means, here what is the cloud is? Microsoft Cloud is what? Azure. So you can become Azure database administrator. So these are the different. Sir, okay? But for any development, compulsory what is required is database knowledge is compulsory. Okay, na? That's all. So this is what I'm going to like. What is this SQL Server? And we have to learn this course. What for SQL Server is used. Okay, then. So this is demo class, and the regular class will start from tomorrow. Okay, the timing is 7:30, not 7 o'clock. Huh? The timing is what? 7:30. Okay, then next, then and first, like first 1 or 2 classes will take database fundamentals. What is database? Like we'll discuss database fundamentals. Okay, then database fundamentals. After completing this database fundamentals, then we can start what's it? SQL Server. So I'll not take much time. Just I'll take 1 or 2 days. After completing this, then we can start SQL Server. Because before you go to the actual SQL Server, you need some basics, database basics. What is database? What is DBMS? What is DBMS? You need some basics. Once we complete that basic, then we can start this SQL Server. Okay then. So you can, any doubts you can ask. So like then this is 7:30 to 9 next and Monday to Saturday. Okay, then and this duration is what's it? 2 months. Okay, na? Okay, na? 2 months. Oh. Because you are all learning .NET, I think, maximum. So no problem. I'll give this. I'll give the any overview, or I just give the basics of what's it? MongoDB. Okay, na? I'll give that basics, basic knowledge. Okay then. So we'll continue this tomorrow. Oh. Perfect. I'm going to Canada. I'm going to focus on my further studies. I'll be learning business analytics. Okay. So, what are the things I can learn here? Database knowledge. You'll get, yes. We can learn that Power BI. Yes. Or I have to learn Python. Not required. It depends. Like it depends. Okay, na? You don't need Python. You learn Power BI, Tableau, enough.
For business analytics, Python and
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Oh. 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 ఆల్రెడీ నేర్చుకున్నారా? ఓకే. ఎంఎస్ ఎక్కడ? అదే ఇది పర్ఫెక్ట్. ఓకేనా? అంటే ఇది ఒకటేనా మీరు నేర్చుకున్నది? ఇంక వేరే ఏమి? ఓకే, ఓకే, నేను చెప్తాను. డెఫినెట్గా you are only joining for SQL Server, not for other courses. Only for SQL Server. I think 2000. ల్యాబ్ ఉంటుంది, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఉంటుంది. ల్యాబ్ రిలయన్స్ ఫ్రెష్ లో ఉంటుంది. రిలయన్స్ ఫ్రెష్ 5th floor లో ఉంటుంది. అక్కడ ల్యాబ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అంటే అప్పుడే కాదు, ఒక 1 week మనం ఫస్ట్ థియరీ ఉంటుంది, ఒక 2-3 రోజులు తర్వాత నుంచి ల్యాబ్ ఉంటుంది. ఎప్పుడు ల్యాబ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందో నువ్వు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. నేను చెప్తాను ల్యాబ్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందని. ఎప్పుడు? 2022 ఈ ఇయర్. ఓకే. నెక్స్ట్ ఇది ఒకటే నేర్చుకుంటున్నావా? ఇది ఏంటి ఇది? డిగ్రీ ఏమైంది? బిఎస్సి కంప్యూటర్ సైన్స్. ఓకే, మరి వేరేది నేర్చుకోపోయినవా? అంటే ఇది కాకుండా. అదే నేను చెప్పింది ఏంటి అంటే కాంబినేషన్ ఉంటే జాబ్ కొట్టడం ఈజీ అని. ఓకేనా? ఒక 10 days ఇది నువ్వు నెక్స్ట్ వేరేది ఏదైనా నేర్చుకో, .NET లాంటివి. పైథాన్ వద్దు, పైథాన్ జాబ్స్ ఉండవు. అవును, అయితే ఓకే, అలాంటివి ఉంటే నువ్వు ఇది నేర్చుకొని ఇదే నీ ఓన్ గా ట్రై చేస్తున్నావు అంటే వేరే కోర్సెస్ నేర్చుకో. నీ ఓన్ కదా, మీ వాళ్ళు ఉన్నారు కదా, దెన్ ఇది నేర్చుకొని ఇదే ట్రై చేయి. ఓకేనా? You don't need any prerequisite for learning this course. Anyone can join this course. Sir, payment you leave it. They give the